welcome back to my channel. Today's look will be like a brown soft glam. It's very much inspired by Jordyn Woods. Not gonna lie, I really looked at her picture for some inspo I mean. I'll insert her makeup artist's page somewhere on the screen, but I was really like hard down trying to study his work, trying to see like how to like, you know, maneuver his style or whatever, but it'll never be the same because everyone, you know, has a different way of doing their craft, but I did the best that I could. So and this look is also predominantly drugstore. I'm pretty sure all my products in this look are drugstore. So I just started off by priming her eye with my LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Light Ivory, and then I go in with my black Radiance contour palette, and I take, this is the light to medium one, and I take the darkest shade, and that is what I'm applying in her crease as my transition shade. I'm just taking my brush and I'm packing that contour color into her crease. This look is predominantly contour palettes. I use 2 contour palettes and 1 eyeshadow palette, so it's really easy to achieve. You just have to have a lot of patience because it takes a lot of blending and a lot of building of colors and going back and forth with the same colors, but it's really simple and really achievable. You can literally do this on yourself. As I'm blending the same shade, I take my brush and I drag this shade to the front of her brow, all the way to like the tip, not the tip, but like where her nose starts, to create like a shadow for my bronzer or my contour when I lay her, you know, her nose contour down. I'm doing this because I noticed in his pictures that he really just takes the colors and he uses the crease shade to really warm up the beginning of the nose bridge. Now I'm going to my Juvia's Place palette, the Magic palette, and I'm taking the terracotta brown and I'm placing that like right between her lid and that crease shade, and I'm just building the color using small circular motions to really blow it out, to really blend it into the first shade that we laid down. And here I'm going back in that black Radiance contour palette, and I'm using that first shade that we put down to blend out the second shade and just get the edges to unify. And you know, because you know, soft glams very much blended, very much melted, so you have to go back and forth and play with these colors to really get that, you know, blown out look. Okay, so now I'm taking my LA Girl Pro Concealer and I'm like carving out the shape of her eye so I can lay the base down for my other shadows. So I'm just using small circular motions and tapping, and I'm using her eyeball as like a guideline so I know where to stop and where to keep going. So yeah, that's all I did, is just took this brush and just did circular motions to carve out her eyes. Okay, can we take a moment to admire how like perfect it's gonna be? Watch, just wait, y'all gonna see, y'all gonna see. It's gonna be so perfect, it's so symmetrical. Like I was blown away. Y'all look at that, look at how symmetrical. And then I'm going back in with that terracotta shade from the Juvia's Place palette, and I'm using that to blend out the edges of the base, because again, soft glam, this is not a cut crease, so I don't want any harsh lines in this look. And it just creates a more flowed look, a more gradient. Girl, this vocabulary is all over the place. It creates a gradient from the base into the other shades that I laid down. Again, I'm working in my Juvia's Place Magic palette, and I'm taking that lightest shade and I'm using that to set the concealer that I laid down. And this is also going to be my lid shade, so it's gonna be like, you know, the pop of it all. And then I go back in with the terracotta brush. I don't dip the brush back into the shadow. I just use what's left on the shadow and I just blend out the edges of the that white shade. This is literally getting so redundant. Okay, so now I'm back into the Black Radiance palette, but I'm using that second shade now instead of using that contour shade. So this is a sculpt shade, and I'm using that to really smoke out the edges, really blend it together. And y'all, I know y'all see how pretty this looks. Like, it really is worth all the effort that you have to put in with the blending and the shade matching, because it really does turn out to be a pretty look. Okay, to add some depth into the eye, I went into my Black Radiance contour palette in the shade medium to deep. So this is the second contour palette they have. And I'm just taking the contour shade of that, like the darkest shade in that palette, and I'm using that to smoke out her lash line, as well as I'm bringing that like into her crease to round out the eye. So watch the motions that I'm doing with the brush. It's kind of like a mini C shape. I'm doing it with tapping, not sweeping. So I tap the darkest shade in like a little C shape. So I go from her lash line and tap it up to like where her crease is. That's the best way I can describe it. I hope that was like a good description. So I'm gonna describe what I did again because you guys can see better with this eye. So I start out at the lash line and then I tap on the darkest shade and I work my way up from the lash line to her crease. So I just pack the shades on and do small circular motions in a C shape. So as I do the small circular motions, I move my brush up and up to like where it hits that crease point. So I go from the lash line again to the crease. And now it's time for the liner. I never do a smudgy smoky liner. This is the first. And I usually do like, you know, the harsh liquid liner. But I'm just taking a black liner pencil. I'm not sure which one because I've had it for a while. And then I'm taking the darkest shade in my Black Radiance medium to deep contour palette. And I take a flat shader brush and I'm packing on the color and blending the shadow out. Because I wanted a brown like liner, but I didn't have a brown pencil, so I just took that black and I pack on the brown to give it like a deep dark brown color. So yeah, I just go back and forth packing on the color and smoking out that line. so I'm explaining what I did again. I pack and drag. So I pack on the shade onto the eyeliner, and as I'm blending it out, I drag the brush upwards. So like, you know, the liner really has a liner effect, so it goes upwards and it lifts the eye. I'm trying to be as descriptive as possible because like the stuff that I go through trying to learn these techniques, I don't want y'all to go through them, so I'm really trying. And here I'm taking a clean pencil brush and I'm really just using that to get the smoky effect of the liner because I don't want a harsh line at all. So I'm just going back over what I just did and just blending it out. Now on to complexion, which is my favorite part. But before we get into all that, can we please look at these eyes? Like, y'all, I really snapped on these eyes. They were tedious, that's a fact, but the result was so pretty and flawless. Like, the eyes look angelic to me. Like, wow, I really snapped, no cap. Like, wow. Like, that's crazy. Okay, so on to complexion. I conceal before foundation, so I'm highlighting her face with my Maybelline concealer. I'll enter the picture so you guys know which concealer I'm using. And I just highlight under her eyes, her forehead, her chin, and her nose. So everywhere you would highlight usually, just on top of bare skin. Okay, so after I lay down that first concealer, which was closer to her skin tone, I go back in with this LA Girl Pro concealer in the shade Light Ivory. And I use that as like really my highlight shade to like really brighten her eyes. Because again, I'm trying to mimic the style of Jordyn's MUA. So he like really does a bright highlight under the eye, or he has like a brightening effect under the eye, but it still looks really natural and really pretty and still subtle, but it's there. So that's what I try to do. I gave the face a mist of my Mario setting, no, not Mario setting spray, Mario facial mist in lavender. And then I go in with my Real Techniques Instapop cheek brush to blend out her face. Well, to blend out the concealer that I laid down. So essentially what I'm doing is blanking out the face because when I'm done, it'll look crazy and light as hell. But I go back in and I fix it all up. Now I'm going back in with my black Radiance contour. No, it's a foundation stick, but I use it for contour. I forget which shade, but it'll be either on the screen or in the description box when I edit. And I'm just using that to contour her face. I high-key forgot to contour her jawline, and I really noticed a difference in my pictures, and it really killed me. But you know, we all make mistakes, and I'm gonna be transparent when I make a mistake. I deadass forgot to contour the jawline. And girl, let me tell you, I was sick when I realized, but you know, it's whatever. The look was still snatched, it was still flawless. And I'm taking this Sephora brush, I forget what it's called, but yo, it's so bomb to blend out contour. Like, it blends like a dream. So I'm gonna go look in my kit, and I'll put in the description box which brush it is, because I feel like it's necessary for everyone to have, along with the Real Techniques Instapot brushes. So yeah, that's what I did. I just used that to blend her contour. And yeah. Honestly, y'all, I don't know what my hand was doing. Like, my hands tend to take over sometimes, and I don't realize until I watch the video back. But for some reason, I decided to set her face with my black Radiance translucent pressed powder. I didn't set it, but like, I lightly dusted her face for whatever reason. Then I went in with the translucent powder on a different brush, and I set her under eye after blending out the creases. So don't ask me why. I usually like blend out everything on the cream side. I lay the foundation and then I set, but for some reason, I guess I was feeling bold. I don't know, I got carried away. But it didn't affect the look. I just want to know why I did that. Like, that was so backwards. And then I go on with my foundation. This is my Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 332 or 330. Not sure. But it'll be in the description box because everything is still laid out. I just have to go look at it. And I'm just placing that on her jawline. And because there was no product on her jawline at all. And then I go in with that same brush all over her face to really blend and melt everything together. Again, on top of the powder, like the dummy that I am. Whatever though, it was still flawless. So yeah, I'm just taking my Instapop Real Techniques face brush. I mix up the words like crazy, but you know, that's the brush that I'm using right now because I haven't been describing my brushes a lot lately. So yeah, that's the brush that I use all over her face to blend out this pretty foundation. So after all that, I'm taking my black Radiance powder in the loose setting powder in the shade Banana, and I'm just using it to set her concealer again because I already set it with that translucent powder, but whatever. I'm using this to bake now, and I'm also using it to set all over her face. Everywhere that has cream product, I place it, and I also use it to carve out her under her contour to clean it up a little bit before I go on with that bronzer. Now this is my black Radiance soft focus powder. Again, I'm not sure of the shades, so they'll all be in the description box. Please just read the description box or the picture because I always post a picture. So yeah, I'm just using that in a fluffy brush to lightly contour and bronze her face. And this look isn't really about harsh contours and shadows. It's more of a sun-kissed, you know, bronzy look. And also, this is also to show that I am such an advocate for drugstore foundations, drugstore makeup, period. Because all of this stuff is literally available. Black Radiance is available at Walmart and Walgreens for sure. I don't know where else it's available. Of course, on Amazon, you can get it. And everything else is available at Ulta. So this is all very affordable. I'm a strong advocate of makeup not having to be expensive to be good. So this look was achievable with things that didn't even cost that much. So honestly, it's not about what you have, how much it costs. It's all about your technique and how you use it. Because baby, I don't be spending that much on my makeup, and if I do say so myself, it be looking a little good. So yeah. After all that bronzing, I'm rambling. After all that bronzing, I go back in with my foundation brush and I brush away all the loose powder. and I just take time to blend. And then I go back in with that loose powder, and for some reason I decided to set her nose. And then I go in with a angled brush and contour her nose. I probably set her nose to create a guideline for my contour. Okay, that makes sense. So now I'm contouring her nose with, again, that same Black Radiance soft focus powder. And I'm just, you know, stippling along her nose with the products. Okay, so now to complete the eye look, I'm going back in with that Black Radiance medium to deep palette and using that contour shade to smoke out her lash line with a I think this is a pencil brush, but I'm not sure right now. But yeah, I use the darkest shade to smoke out her lash line. Really, you know, snatch the eyes, balance the eye look, because you can't have all that going on at the top and not have something at the bottom. So whether it be like a smoked lash line, a liner, some glitter, you need something at the bottom to balance your eye looks. Now I'm taking my Black Radiance palette in the light to medium, and I'm using the darkest shade to smoke out the other shade, just so there's a gradient, there's no harsh lines. And then I'm taking my LA Girl Pro concealer in the shade Flat White, because this would not be my look if I didn't put that white inner corner highlight. So I use a concealer to do this, actually, the LA Girl Pro concealer in the shade Flat White, and it works just as good as a white eyeshadow. And then I take my Juvia's Place Magic palette, and I take that lightest shade again, and I place it right in the inner corner to set that the concealer. And then I also take that shade and I drag it onto her lid to brighten, or to bring back that shade. Oh my gosh, can I speak English? I bring back the shade that I laid down at first, because it got lost in all the browns and all the, you know, blending I did. So I use that to brighten the eye, and can I say that it made it look so much prettier? Like, this look is really doing something for me. Okay, now we're going back in with that foundation brush that still has a little bit of product on it, a little bit of foundation, and I'm tapping away and blending at her nose contour. I use a foundation brush again to blend things out, because it still has the product on it. So if something's ever too much, or if I ever overuse the product, it's easy for me to, you know, tone it down. Now I'm going in with my Morphe 8W blush palette, and I'm using a pink shade to blush her face. Blush, is that a word? Blush her face? I'm using a pink shade to add blush to her face, to add color back to her face. And yeah, I'm just placing that in a C shape as well. For some reason I brought it up to her temple, and I actually really like that. I never usually do that, but it added an extra like layer of color for me. Then I spray her face again with my Badescu lavender spray. I am never stingy with the spray, because no powder cast over here. And again, I go back in with my foundation brush and just blend everything together. Make sure it's all unified, married, seamless, all those adjectives for blended. So yeah, that's all I do. And then I go with my highlighter after that. I'm not a big fan of over highlighting, or like, you know, powerful highlight. I like a subtle highlight, a little glow from within type thing. So I just take my Wet n Wild highlighter and I just put a little bit. Like, I don't do a lot at all. Okay, so y'all, let me tell y'all how I messed up this look by messing up the lips. I didn't mess up the lips to the point where like the look didn't look good or anything. I just messed it up to the point where it didn't look like it was inspired by the picture of Jordyn that I wanted to use. I'll probably insert the picture in here so you guys can see. So I started off with like this creamy matte look. I use a concealer in the middle to like create like a nude matte look, but then I realized like I think I want to go for like a peachy like brown. I don't know. It ended up like a taupey color. I honestly don't know my color, so I'm probably off. But yeah, I didn't realize that in the picture that I wanted, that Jordyn was wearing like a brown lip glossy type look, and I literally have a brown lipstick I could have used. And when I tell you I realized that, I was so sick. Like, I was mad as I don't know what. Like, I was really sitting here beating myself up about it, because I was like, yo, how did you mess this up? Like, you almost had it. It could have been an exact replica, damn near, and you just messed it up. But you know, you live and you learn. I'm still kind of salty about it, but I'ma live. And yeah, this is just the lip. It took a lot of blending, to be honest. Lips are my least favorite thing to do. That's why I literally do a nude lip and throw on lip gloss, because I don't like color. I don't like blending. I don't like lining. Okay, I'm rambling. Okay, yeah, this is the lip. Y'all, this is literally the lip that I was being dramatic about. Like, it doesn't look bad at all. But this really is the look. Next step is I just sprayed her face with my Morphe setting mist, and then that was it. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on this look. This is very much soft glam, your skin but better. Like, this is soft glam to the extreme. Let me know if I nailed the look, like if it's an imitation of Jordyn. Like, rate me on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, I really want to know if I like nailed her soft glam look. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.